Backrooms level 310, also known as the Familiar Darkness, is a lonely, staticky place that is completely different than any other level I've ever talked about. Something about this level is comforting and familiar, but also foreign and dangerous. However, underneath that relaxing exterior, there's something off with level 310, and it might be much more sinister than you think. So today, I'll be explaining level 310. I'll be talking about its lore, its history, and everything I know about it. Thank you for watching on this video. Let's get into it, shall we? Level 301 of the Backrooms begins with the following quote: "Light is especially appreciated after darkness." It's classified as an undefined rating because of its really dark and dimly lit expanse and its unsafe vibe that really is not secure in the slightest. If you come here, you need to know that it is a dangerous place, and it's also not normally entered how you usually would. The only way you can get here, and I'll explain this in the entrance and exit portion, but the only way you can get here is if you have some form of amnesia or dementia. Again, I will tackle that further later on in the video. When you do arrive inside of level 301, it will appear to you as a neighborhood from the late 1990s in some sort of suburban type place. It's unknown if the level is completely infinite because there's only a small area that you can see, sort of like a render distance. But we do know that if you explore further past that render distance, the level does generate new places for you to see. The houses here are small and run down. There's really skinny paved roads and tight alleyways, and this really just repeats over and over again. The atmosphere of the level is a mix of that strangeness and familiarity that I talked about in the intro, but also it kind of feels wrong. You have this intrinsic feeling that you're not supposed to be seeing these houses as if they look like they're from your childhood or nostalgic for some reason, but they're just not. It's as if the level is trying to force itself to appear nostalgic to lure people in. The houses and textures in level 301 are also very poorly generated, similar to like in old consoles graphics, like a PS2 or an Xbox. They don't seem fully rendered. The textures are blocky and thick, and it doesn't seem as reality that we know. And on that note, most of the level is kind of like you're walking through a video game. There's a few reasons for this, minus the poorly rendered textures, and one of them is the existence of the render distance that I mentioned, because you can only see so far ahead in this level as a black misty fog kind of covers everything. Just a few hundred yards ahead is all you can actually properly maintain with your eyes, and if you get closer to it, you can see more as if it generates. Another reason for that old game feeling is that the darkness inside of this level, it feels artificial, it feels generated, as if a fog machine or a computer is making what it thinks fog looks like. If you walk through mist in real life or something like that, you'll feel it on your skin and it'll be a cool sensation, but if you walk through fog and things here, it'll feel polygonal, it'll feel like it's hard and sharp. Like again, it's a poorly rendered graphic. But as you do continue your exploration around the neighborhoods here, that darkness will begin to absorb everything. You can feel it poking into your skin, and if you absorb it in your mouth and nose, it hurts. It feels staticky and grainy and thick. On top of that, there's this near constant wind that's just blowing through the entire place that rattles the loose shutters on houses and shakes the fake plants that are on the front yards, and everything like that just adds to this feeling that you're not supposed to be a human in this fake world. But despite this, the darkness never moves. That fog that floats in the air, even though it's really windy, it's unaffected by the wind. It just stays there. The oppressive, pitch black nature of this place is really impossible to overstate. There are no natural light sources here, except for a faint glow of a very small entity that lives here. The entity that is native to this level is called the glowing larva, and they do live inside of this place. However, they only give so much light. I'll explain them more in the entity section, of course, but they exist on houses, on porches, on sidewalks, and other areas in the level, and they provide just the faintest amount of light that naturally glows from their bodies, sort of like lightning bugs from real life. But back to the actual houses in this place. You really can't see what's above the houses because it's so dark, but it appears that it's in some sort of enclosed area, like a gigantic movie set almost, or a video game that doesn't render textures. And the houses themselves are generated very oddly. You can walk inside of them and you can explore the interior like normal buildings, but when you enter them, it's not advisable to even stay there for long periods of time, because the houses and the insides of them, they mirror parts of your own memories, very slightly, but not accurately. For example, if you walk into a house and you find a bedroom, it could look kind of like your bedroom, but it'll be distorted and wrong. The furniture might be on the ceiling, or the clocks might be ticking backwards, or the walls will be a different color, or the walls will have a heartbeat, and the windows will seem alive. Something is just off with these places, with these buildings, and it is not safe for you to walk inside and explore them. People who have come here and explored have claimed that this is one of the most confusing places they've ever been. Everything seems like a normal dark neighborhood until you just stop for a second and realize how odd it all looks. Like it's stuck in a paused video game and somehow you're walking around. Are the houses alive? Is the entire level alive? We don't know, but everything seems to be breathing. There also are no supplies inside of the houses, so you should not stay in them for any long period of time. Now, level 301, on top of the strange things that I've already explained, has other differing events that occur inside of its boundaries, all of which add to that strange uncanniness. For instance, lights inside of homes will randomly flick on and off, even though they usually are unable to turn on. Like I said, it's pitch black here. They'll come on naturally and just go off and on and off and on, kind of like SpongeBob, if you've seen that one clip where the lights just go off and on. You also might hear odd whispers on that breeze that's blowing through the level, as if someone's trying to whisper to you from all the way across the neighborhood. That black fog here also might become randomly so thick that you can't walk through it, and it kind of covers up all your surroundings and traps you inside of the little small area you're at. This will make it impossible for you to travel around the level accurately, because inhaling that fog will lead to nosebleeds and other pain. It's sharp, it's physical, it's not just mist, it's alive. Another strange thing that happens here is you might rarely see a crimson sun that rises very far off in the distance for just a few brief moments, and a light is finally cast over the level when this happens, only for just a few seconds later, it'll vanish. It really does get stranger and stranger the more time you spend inside of this place. If you ever played the old Silent Hill games from the old consoles, that's exactly what this area feels like. It does not feel tangible. It feels generated by a computer, but not very well. It doesn't seem like it's tried very hard. There's also an event that happens here called the hippocampus event, which, if you don't know, the hippocampus section of your brain is responsible for short-term memory and long-term memory, as well as spatial navigation and emotional regulation. And there's a tab on this specific level page that says the hippocampus event is dangerous, and once you click on it, it says, quote, "Keep sepulcher closed," end quote. So whatever that means, because this level is messing with time and distorting it and giving you amnesia, which is what it's doing, it can't be very good to stay here for very long. But all those events that I briefly just mentioned are more likely to occur the longer you stay inside of this level. And the more the level has to generate of itself as you keep walking, as you keep exploring, the stranger those events will become. Everything will begin to undulate and have rhythmic patterns, and everything will be strangely alive. You'll think that the windows in the houses are looking at you as if they're eyeballs. You'll think that the larvae on the streets are alive and they're stalking you. You just need to exit this level as soon as possible whenever you get sent here, because if you don't, it'll latch onto that brain and you'll start to just forget everything. Now, as I said earlier, the only entity here is the glowing larva. These are native to this level, and there are small, grub-like organisms that are found all over it. In size, they range from a few inches in length to the size of a human hand, and their unique feature, of course, is their bioluminescence. They crawl around in these glowing little clusters together, oftentimes huddling on street corners or inside of houses, and as I said earlier a bunch, this is the only consistent light source in the level. However, the longer you stay inside of this weird level, the dimmer those lights get, until eventually they're just extinguished and you're left alone in the dark. It's unknown why the lights go out, it's unknown how the larvae stop producing their bioluminescence, but it does, and you shouldn't wait here until it gets pitch black. If you step on a larva and squish it accidentally or on purpose, which why would you do that? That's kind of lame. The smell that it will release is known to be a cognitohazard and cause hallucinations, and even induce deja vu into those people unfortunate enough to smell it. Whatever the smell is, it kind of guides your brain to forgotten childhood memories and events, and it makes you relive them inside of your head just for a brief moment. Some people even report remembering their own childbirth very vividly, and after inhaling that smell of the larva they just stepped on, they can remember every single moment from their childbirth. Inhale these things at your own risk though, because that rush of memories might overwhelm your brain or your heart, causing you to just drop and keel over right there. The longer you stay in the level, as I discussed, the less it becomes realized. Every material you see will just look like worse and worse graphics, and everything you'll try to interact with does not seem correct. Shadows might dash in your peripheral vision, you'll start to hear voices more commonly, and you'll just start to go more insane. Really, you can't really tell what's real in your head or what's actually in front of you. And as such, it is recommended to never enter this level because of those effects that it has on your brain and the dementia and amnesia and Alzheimer's that it might cause if you come here. As I said, now that we're in the entrance and exit section, entering the level is equally as odd as its description, because you can only do so if you're already suffering from amnesia or dementia or Alzheimer's or some other form of memory suppression in the backrooms. You have to have one of those things wrong with you and then eventually collapse to the ground, and once you do that, you'll be propelled mind and body into this level. Those are the only ways you can enter this place, is by doing that. Once you're here, you can essentially walk around the level and do whatever, but it will make the situation worse. It's not a good thing to be coming here. To exit, you have to explore the level for an unknown amount of time until that crimson sun I mentioned appears, and some claim that walking towards the sun will lead you out of the level. Others claim that you have to walk around and you have to wait for all those glowing larvae to go out, and then and only then will you wake up from this hallucination of the level. Whatever the case is, level 301 is such a unique place that there is no other level like it. It's unlike any other liminal space I've discussed, unlike any other Backrooms level in the lore. It is a journey through the embodiment of darkness. You can feel that darkness on your own skin. It's palpable, it's polygonal, it's physical. Everything looks familiar, but deep down, you know it's not familiar. You're just trying to make it seem that way. It's bleak, it's forgotten, it's not physical, but it is at the same time. It's a familiar darkness, just like the name suggests. It's a great name, and it leaves you with that feeling of looming dread that you just can't shake away. Are you alone when you're exploring these dark neighborhoods, or are you accompanied by all the ghosts of your past? I don't know, I'm asking you. That's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Please leave a like on this video if you actually enjoyed it. Make sure to stay tuned for plenty of more Backrooms explanations on the way this summer. Hopefully y'all are ready for that. Thank you for everything, and I'll see you in the next video.